Farm Insurance, hanging out with us this morning. And Erin, good morning, Jen. Thanks for coming in this morning.
Good morning, Chris.
Absolutely. It's Chris and Janelle in the morning here on Mom FM and Hot Country Hits. We're streaming this live on our Facebook pages and our YouTube channel, on Hot Country Hits Facebook page, WMOM's Facebook page, and our YouTube. And you can engage with us if you would like, because you know what? Winter is going to be around the corner. We've got some windy conditions today. And it kind of goes hand in hand, Erin, that we need to winterize and prepare our home for the fall and winter months, right?
Absolutely. The time is here. Or in fact, we're running out of time. So these 40s and 50-degree weather days, I saw Monday, I think a high of 50. So I think this weekend, before hunting season opens, I think we got to get some of this stuff done on the outside and get our house prepared for the weather that's coming.
All right. Oh, good morning. We've got a honk. Adam Lamb just drove by, so we have to say hi to him. Let's talk about the list of items. I'll take a couple. Janelle, if you want to take a couple as well. Yeah. But let's talk about the first one, which is the furnace, which can be expensive if it goes out. And we want to make sure that it is up, in tip-top shape, right?
I think the timing is now, because the heat's just kicking on for most people. So let me give you an example. We had a furnace that was a little bit older. Took a little longer to get parts back in our previous house. So we'd order a part. It literally, back then, before there were supply chains, quote-unquote, issues, it took a week to get. And so we literally went out of power for a week in the middle of the winter and had to have fires. It was getting so cold in the back of the house. We're all sleeping in the living room, and kids thought, this is great. Yeah. No. So I would have your furnace checked out now while you can. Give your local heating and cooling company a call to have a regular maintenance or service. Just, hey, could you make sure we're ready to go for the winter? Mm-hmm. All right. For sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. Inspecting the insulation in your attic and crawl space. What about that?
So for me, that's an interesting one, right? Because I think if you've owned a home for years or have done construction or reconstruction things or anything on your home to maintain it, you go, wait, I just got insulation in the attic. It's good. Well, here's the interesting thing that has happened, especially with when the soffits, which is the bottom part of the edge of the roof that ventilates the attic, if there's big windstorms, it can definitely move the blown-in insulation. So if you know or you don't know you've had blown-in insulation, it can create pockets if the winds are big enough. And so in the last, let's say, 3 years, we've had half a dozen storms that have been 60-plus mile-an-hour winds. That's going to move some of your insulation in your attic. And you may be listening to going, what in the world is he talking about? Well, again, blown-in insulation can move around. If you have a pocket of no insulation on top of your ceiling in the upper level, that is where the heat's going directly out. And so your money literally is going up through your ceiling and out of the house. Mm-hmm. So your cash money you pay to the utility company or to buy propane or whatever, you're going to actually pay more because you don't have a good coating of insulation in your attic.
And Janelle and I were talking just this morning about opening up that utility bill, and being shocked, and we don't want that to happen. We're visiting with Erin Doan from Erin Doan State Farm Insurance this morning, talking about winterizing your home, and our first focus is on the inside of your home. Janelle, you have a couple other items for Erin too, right?
Yes. Seal potential leaks.
Yeah, so I think for me on that space, it's sometimes you can have new leaks. For example, siding gets blown or moved around, or around the windows. You'll notice that all of a sudden, I haven't noticed that before. There's the caulk is cracked around the windows. Right. And so what you want to do this right, and if it's not a professional, but you decide you want to do it, is you've got to really do the best you can to get the old caulk off, the old sealant, kind of remove it, peel it off, take some time, and then put a brand new bead of caulk all the way around that window to reseal it for air. They talk about, and I'm an old window guy, used to sell windows, that half of the insulation around windows and doors is the insulating factor of the window or door, and the other half is the air infiltration. So literally, if you got, I know these are really insulated windows, hold on. Half of the value of that insulation of that window is that it's sealed properly. So if you notice that, that's a great example. Check out the whole entire outside of your house. foundation, siding, windows, and doors.
Yep, because nobody wants to be heating the outside, right?
Well, and I think the other part, Janelle, is think about this: even the pipes. Sometimes the pipes around that come out, because sometimes people have especially the newer, more efficient furnaces. The PVC pipes are coming out the sidewall, so you want to caulk around that too, and that can get fail too. And or you'll notice that maybe the contractor didn't put caulk around that area too.
Yep. And what about allowing for ventilation?
So that's getting back to the attic space. What happens a lot of times that could happen to you too is insulation could blow over your soffit. So you're not allowing your attic space. And a lot of people again, listening to this, if you never go in your attic, it's worth looking to see what is going on. The outside of those soffits can actually get covered up. And then what happens is we create ice dams in the winter. So what that means is the heat actually will melt the ice and snow on your roof, go to the edge, and freeze and create big, huge, what they call ice dams. And all the water backs up into your house.
Oh, no.
So that is not a good situation, too. So again, getting back to looking at what's going on in the attic is super important.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that person that's like, hey, the colder temps are upon us. Let's fire up the fireplace. A lot of times we think that it's just going to be the same way it was at the end of last season, but that's not the case, is it?
Well, it isn't if there's creosote in the chimney. So depending on what kind of wood, if you use really, really dry hardwoods, always, every time, everybody in the household is absolutely using dry wood, you have less chance of creosote, which is this compound that builds up in the sidewalls inside the chimney. That can actually catch on fire, and you can actually have a chimney fire, which is really scary. So you can actually have somebody help you clean out your chimneys if there is creosote buildup. But I would recommend, if not every year, at least every other year, depends on how much you use your fireplace or your wood-burning stove, just to make sure that it is clean. If you don't know how to do it or can't do it, definitely get a professional. If you want to go for it and you feel like you can do it, YouTube, how to do it and buy the equipment, just make sure you regularly clean your chimneys and then have them checked. Because even the chimney can come apart inside. So you have a masonry chimney going around, let's say a galvanized pipe. That pipe can slip apart and create another way for a chimney fire where the fire actually, smoke can get outside of that space. So you just definitely want to have a professional come check it out.
If you're just joining us, we're talking with Erin Doan from Erin Doan State Farm Insurance. Let's pivot a little bit here to outside winterizing your home, and you've hinted a little bit on it, but there's a couple other areas, Janelle, that we want to highlight and we want to remind the listeners about, right?
Yes. So tool checkups.
So I think with the tool checkup, what are they referring
like
to?
Shovels.
Shovels. Okay, so
like snowblower.
Oh, right.
Yep.
Okay, so let's say you use a snowblower and you need to make sure that that's maintained. So if you haven't taken it to a company or you don't know how to, make sure it's tuned up, it's actually going to work well, that the gas mixture is correct. Again, those are another things just to do. It's just kind of regular things. And I'll be honest, I don't recall, maybe my dad did that growing up, but I don't remember him doing that. But I do remember that a lot of times the equipment wouldn't work. And I was the guy, the young teenager, like, okay, go out and snowblow or go out and weed whack.
Yep.
Well, I couldn't get the darn thing to start. So I think
you're shoveling.
Yeah, so I'm always so I'm shoveling. So if shoveling is your thing, that's great. Just be really careful, obviously, in slippery conditions. But you got to make sure do you actually have a shovel? Do you have a shovel in your car? A small one, right? Or some salt or sand or something that's in your car. Get those things in your car. That's a bonus in addition to what you need to do. Get ready for the tools that you'll need to take care of your house. That makes sense?
Yes, definitely. And what about outdoor furniture?
So this can blow. I think I mentioned it off air that we've had some big windstorms, and even I recall the date, December 15th of 2021, we actually had 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts, and that will blow heavy patio furniture. It could definitely blow over barbecue grills and things of that nature. Throwing them into your sliding glass door or window or siding of your house or whatever, I would just say do your best to not have anything that can move from that kind of wind outside that's not locked down or put in a shed. It's just you're just kind of asking for some projectile to be picked up by the wind and thrown into your house for sure.
Right.
All right. If you're just joining us, we're talking with Erin Doan from Erin Doan State Farm Insurance this morning, winterizing your home inside and out. And let's bring this all together as we wrap up this morning, Erin, and talk about the fact that doing those items and more, obviously they want to have those conversations, and you can find out a lot of information right there on the State Farm Insurance website. But how is the benefit of the insurance when it comes to winterizing your home indoor and inside, outside? How is that going to ensure that we benefit in the long run, if you don't mind?
Well, what you're doing is you're trying to be, if you will, the best home maintenance person to protect your domain, which, okay, so that's not an insurance thing, but it kind of is, because if you're making sure all these things are in a good, proper order, you have a significantly better chance of not having a claim comparatively to not doing it. So let's just say, for example, you leave your garden hose connected to your outside hose faucet, your hose bib. That is a really, really dangerous thing to do. If there's water in the hose and it freezes, the water freezes back into the home, sometimes a foot or more. And guess what? Once it thaws, there creates a crack on the inside of the home, and literally under pressure, all that water goes everywhere inside of your home. So I think, again, what you're doing is you're trying not to have a claim, which then helps your premium to be lower and to be more stable. That's the insurance reasons of why you want to take care of and look at these things right now while it's still nice before deer hunter opener, rifle season, is get these things done right now. Does that make sense?
It
Yes,
does.
of course.
Absolutely.
It's a perfect weekend. I mean, if it's a good weekend to, clean up the yard, do all your inspecting, everything like that.
All right. Erin, we appreciate you coming in as always. Erin Doan from State Farm Insurance. If somebody wants to get a hold of you, how do they do that?
Yes, we're located. My State Farm agency is on US 10 in Ludington. We're right next door to the Muffler Man, just a half a mile east of Meyer, US 10. We have customers from all over the listening area, and we'd love to get a chance to help you, to look at your situation, provide a quote, or make sure your insurance is up to date, even if you're elsewhere or with us. Take the time, make sure you have the right coverage, and get a hold of us at 757-3115.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you so much for coming in as always. It's Erin Doan from Erin Doan State Farm Insurance here on 102.7 Mom FM and